My parents turned my graduation dinner into my sister's spotlight, so my grandma shut it down. My sister was born when I was 8, early, and almost died in NICU. She pulled through, and after that, she was the miracle kid, and I was the extra. By my 10th birthday, she had her own gift pile at my party. By 12, my birthday dinners were picked by her, not me. At 13, I watched her get a crown and face paint at my own party, while I sat there quiet, and I stopped inviting friends after that. I learned to keep my head down because anything I wanted turned into, why can't you let your sister have it? When I was 14, I mowed lawns all summer, and saved $340 for a used gaming PC. I hid the money in my drawer. My mom found it, said my sister needed dance lessons, and promised she'd pay me back. She never did. When I brought it up, my dad called me selfish, and said family helps family. At 16, my sister decided she wanted my bigger bedroom. I came home, and my stuff was already moved into the small room. Some of my posters were trashed because they didn't match her vibe. My parents acted like I was the problem for being upset. That was the moment I stopped trying to win them. I got a part-time job at a grocery store, opened a bank account they didn't know about, and started saving hard. Senior year, I worked nights most weeks, did homework on breaks, and still graduated at the top of my class. I got into my dream college, but I was short about $8,000 for the first year. My parents had always said they'd help, so I asked. My mom laughed like it was funny. She said they spent my college fund years ago on my sister's travel volleyball, tournaments, equipment, all of it. My dad shrugged and told me to figure it out, so I did. I applied for scholarships, picked up more shifts, and kept my mouth shut. Then my graduation dinner came. My parents said they planned something nice at an Italian place, and a bunch of family flew in. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. For once, I thought maybe graduating valedictorian meant something to them. We walked in, and I saw the reservation was under my sister's name. My stomach dropped, but I told myself it didn't matter. My sister complained about the table and said she wanted to sit where the lighting was better. My mom jumped up to fix it like it was an emergency. While everyone took their seats, my dad asked my sister if she wanted to order appetizers for the table like it was her night. I sat there in the same dress shirt I've worn to every family thing because buying a new one felt stupid when I was scraping for college money. The place smelled like garlic bread, and people started asking me about school. I tried to answer, but my mom kept cutting in, saying money was tight, and we were still working things out. My sister kept tapping her nails on her glass and whispering to my mom like she was bored. My grandma didn't say a word, but her eyes stayed on my parents. Then dessert came out, and my parents stood up with their phones up like they were filming. My dad tapped his glass, and my mom smiled way too big. She said this dinner was actually a double celebration because my sister, who was 17, was 8 weeks pregnant. She said they were keeping the baby, and my parents couldn't be happier to become grandparents. The whole table went silent. My grandpa froze with his fork in the air. My aunt's mouth fell open. My sister held her stomach like she was waiting for applause. I didn't move. 10 years of being pushed aside, and they still couldn't give me one night that was just mine. My grandma stood up slowly. She's 74 and she never yells, but her voice came out hard. She said she flew 1,000 miles to celebrate her grandson's graduation, not to watch my parents hand my moment to the daughter who already gets everything. My mom started crying and tried to say my sister needed extra support because she was fragile from birth. My grandma cut her off and said, he was fragile too. You just ignored it. My grandpa stood next to her, then my uncle, then my aunt. One by one, they said what they'd noticed for years. The birthdays that weren't mine. Me always pushed to the side, even in photos, at every party too. My room being taken, my college fund disappearing. My cousin said she'd seen my sister posting about expensive gear while I wore the same few outfits to every family event. My mom kept trying to talk, but nobody let her. My sister started crying and said everyone was ruining her special moment. Nobody even looked at her. My grandma turned to me and asked if I wanted to come stay with her before college. She said she'd cover the $8,000 I was missing. My throat locked up, so I just nodded, and tears finally ran down my face. My grandma reached across the table, took my hand, and said, let's go get a real dinner. I stood up with her. My grandpa and my uncle and my aunt and a couple cousins stood too, and we walked out, leaving my parents sitting there with my sister and her announcement. Now my parents are saying I'm ungrateful for leaving. Was I wrong?